Hello, this is XM41907. I'm here to talk about my Amazon Fire TV. I've got this thing set up with all sorts of tweaks and mods, and figured I would show what the capabilities for this device can be. Once rooted and you spend some time on XDA forums and get this thing loaded up with all types of cool features. So as you can see here, it is not hooked up to a TV, it is hooked up to a projector, which is great. I love it, but you can see right now I've got the light on, so it's not great, but I'll turn it off here in a few minutes after I show you my hardware, and we'll go from there. So I have my Fire TV over here. As you can see, I have it hooked up here on top of my audio receiver. This is an older receiver. It does not utilize the DTS Plus feature. So to get surround sound, I had to use the optical out here. No big deal, but you know, originally I would have liked to just have the one HDMI cable passing through my receiver onto my projector. So next I have here a, I'm going to pull this out, I don't need it any longer. This is a powered USB hub, Insignia brand. Got it for about 20 bucks at Best Buy. Works wonderful with the system. Then I have a Logitech receiver for a game controller. I'll talk about in a minute. Another Logitech receiver for a keyboard. Also talk about that in a minute. And then I have an old Western Digital Passport that I had lying around that works wonderful for my needs. So that's the basic hardware. Come over here and talk about my controls. So of course I have the Fire TV controller. Use that a lot. Then I also have just a simple Bluetooth mouse. You can see here it's just Motorola. Does what I need. Works great. Then for game controls, I have the Logitech, what was this, F710. I've had this for a number of years, hooked up to my PC. Worked great. Read that it works for the Fire TV, so I hooked it up. And other than some issues that all the game controllers seem to have, this works quite well. I also have the Ouya controller. Now I love the controls on this, the feel to it. It fits me much better than the F710. But again, it also has some issues with playing certain games. Lastly, I have the Logitech K700 wireless keyboard. This was built, I believe, for the Google TV. You can see it's got all these specific buttons on it that don't really function too well. In fact, all those top buttons don't do anything connected to an Android device. The keyboard itself is very well designed. The keys are solid, they feel good pressed down. It feels very, well built. Does have a fully functioning trackpad. Both of these are out of the box. Hook it straight up to my USB hub, and it works great. The direction keys work well, so does the back and home button. The other buttons don't really work too well. Don't really work at all. But it's very well done device. I enjoy it. Batteries last a long time, so yeah, this works great for my needs. The only thing I wish is that it would be backlit, as some of the other keyboards are. Alright, so I'm going to get this thing hooked up and we will go through the software. Let's see here. Alright. Okay. Yeah. Pretty good. Lights out. Alright, first up you'll notice that this is not, I'm not running the default Amazon homepage. I'm rooted and I've set up a number of different customizations all through the XDA forums that have allowed me to have a modified device with a custom home screen or a launcher. This is running Nova Launcher. Just today I got the live wallpaper functioning. I'm going to try to put links in my post later, but for now I'm just going to walk through the options that I have. But anyway, yeah, so I got the live wallpaper set up today. Before it was just a black screen. Apparently Amazon turned off the functionality of a wallpaper for the device, but somebody figured it out. So this works really well. Like I said, it's Nova Launcher. Let's see here. So this has all of my apps. You can see I have a ton of apps on here, mostly games. A lot of these also are live wallpapers because, well, I just got that function working and playing around with the different live wallpapers. So a couple of cool features here. I have got this set up so I can go to the Amazon home screen. It works wonderful. I did customize this. If you can see that not all of the menu items are there. There is a mod that you can use to hide various options. Does a few other things. But this was all before I got the Nova Launcher set up. But what works great is I can have a secondary launcher, or a private, or not private, a custom launcher, but still have Amazon Prime functionality, because I do have Amazon Prime, so I want to be able to watch these videos. Let's see. Just hitting the home screen, or the home button, takes me back to Nova. Let's see, what else do I have on here? I have installed the Google Play Store. Along with it, I used an app called Market Helper to make this appear to be, I think it's a Nexus 1 device. But that allows a lot of compatibility for apps. And let's see here. So you can see, I can move around with the Fire TV remote. This works great. So let's get out of here. Oops. Alright, so I've got the Play Store, various other apps on here. With Nova Launcher you can set up folders. So I've got folders with certain games on here. Still customizing it. Also with some of the various media apps. Fast Reboot down here in the bottom left. This is a good app for clearing memory real fast. So anytime that I feel the device is getting sluggish, I just come down here, click that once, gives it a few seconds, boom, it pops up, shows what processes have been closed, restarted. I usually hit it a couple of times because you'll see 29 megs freed, 12 megs freed, 10. So I usually do it just a few times, and that gets the slowness usually goes away. Alright, let's see here. I do have the Aptoide Market also installed, kind of similar to the Google Market. You can see here. Games, I'll go through games here in a little bit. Let's see. Oh, live wallpaper, so we'll just change wallpapers here. Let's see. There's kind of an interesting one. So there. Now I got a nice flashy, colorful wallpaper going. Lots of games. Let's see what else. Alright, so one of the big functions with the device that a lot of people put on is XBMC or Kodi, or I'm using SPMC variant. So we'll let it load up. Alright, here's we go. This is, I believe, the Metropolis skin. I've been using it for years. I like it quite a bit. I have movies on a home server connected with, home server NAS, and it streams really well for me. A lot of people have had issues with buffering, but I use NFS, or is it NFS file system instead of SMB, and it works great. You see, you got movies, TV shows. Let's see. Oh, one option that I love with XBMC or Kodi or whatever you want to call it is the okay, I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with that. Okay. It is the add-on called okay, so Pseudo TV Live is apparently auto-tuning. Okay, I don't want that. Let me clear it out. But it is Cinema Experience. Let's see here. Okay, Cinema Experience. You have all these options to essentially set your movies up like you're at the movie theater. You can have slides, you can have trailers, have special movie or special videos in between. So if you're not familiar with it and you like that option, give it a shot. It is called Cinema Experience. Okay, so enough about this. A lot of people are aware of it and use it, so I don't want to go into too much detail. Oh, one thing why I can have so many games on here, so many apps, is you saw my external hard drive. There you can mount the data and system onto an external hard drive, which I've done. Obviously, setup took me a little while, but once I got it all worked out, my device appears almost flawless as far as difference between response between the original or the basic internal memory versus that. Now I did try hooking up a flash drive and it slowed it way down. It was not worth it. So I switched, I got this out, and yeah, you can see I have tons of games. Okay, so I have the Ouya controller. One cool feature that I found is you can set this up to be just like an Ouya system. So let me go to my utilities. You see I have all types of utilities here. What I'm going to do is, let's see, go back in there. I'm going to go to Titanium Backup. And I have the Ouya framework installed. Let me get to it. Okay, so you can see here, this is the Ouya launcher. Whenever you get this, you'll have 4 APKs to set up the Ouya framework. The Ouya launcher, I have it frozen right now because it does a weird issue that you'll probably see in just a minute. I'm going to defrost it first. Go back to my home. You see I just hit home and it took me to the Amazon home instead of Nova. It's a weird issue that I've been having. That's why I have that frozen. But I did find an alternative. So let me go back to Nova Launcher. And this is a alternative Ouya launcher called Baxi, which I got working. I can get it over here to Discover. This will bring up the Ouya framework. So now I've got an Ouya. And I can install apps, games, however. I've installed quite a few of them. Not all work well. The controller, I was thinking that the Ouya controller would work with all of them. It doesn't. It's very hit or miss what games do work, but this does allow me to install and play Ouya games. So if I hit the home screen or the home button, then it takes me to this system menu. Okay, so I'm not sure what's going on with that, but as I said, I figured out a way around it. Let me go back into Titanium Backup, and we're going to freeze. We're going to freeze the Ouya framework. Which one was it? Let me get there. The Ouya launcher. So as soon as I freeze this and I hit home, oops. Alright, so there, back to Nova. So if you want the Ouya, you install these 4 APKs, and then you install the Baxi alternative launcher. That allows me to freeze the Ouya launcher, but yet still be able to play the games because otherwise, without that being installed, a lot of the games will not function. So it's a workaround. I'll try to explain that in detail in the post, but probably at another time. Let's see, what else do I have? I think that's really about it. Games. So let's play. I'll play an Ouya game. Let's see. Shadowgun. So this is one that's had an issue with the controller. So right now I still have my keyboard connected. Turn the volume down. Okay, so since I still have my keyboard connected, the left and right triggers, or trigger 2s, will probably not work once this is loaded. Let me see. Yeah, so they're not working, but as you can see, it does function quite well. Let me just see if I can unplug this and see if it'll get it to work. So this is an issue with game controllers. Not all of the games work with all the controllers. I would like to get the Amazon Fire controller and see how that functions as well, but for now I've got what I've got, and some of these games work, some don't. Let's see, I was playing Shadowgun. Let's try it. It may not work. I may have to reboot the Fire TV to get that to work. I'm not sure. I think it's going to work though. Alright, using the mouse. Yeah, so they're still not working. But both controllers do function on this game. It's just neither one of them are, the L2s and R2s are not functioning. But I think once I reboot, then they would work. Let's see. So here is a Ouya app called Nostalgia. It's basically it's a front end for emulators, and it says it's for the Ouya, but I got it working on here. And I have old Nintendo games, and what it does is it uses various emulators, but this is just a front end for them. So, boom, oops, I use Turbo. Super Mario Brothers, of course. And I think that's really about it. Like I said, I've got a lot of games on here. And yeah, so for now that's it. I'm sure I'm missing something. I just can't think of it right offhand. Oh, one example is my son loves playing Minecraft. So this is, yeah, let's see here, what has he got? So I'm using the Logitech F710 game controller, and it functions well. I don't know what I'm doing because I don't play this game. Okay, there we go. So it works quite well with the game controller. Like I said, the Logitech F710, which is not Bluetooth, it's connected with the wireless receiver. But my Ouya controller does not seem to work quite as well. It has issues with certain things. So like I said, certain controllers work with certain games. Alright. Oh, I guess I'll leave it at that for now. But I want to thank everybody who has contributed on XDA forums and got this system up and running amazingly, and I'm looking forward towards new good things with it. So, okay, thank you.